Okay, Karen, here we are again. It is Sunday, November 2nd, year of our Lord 2025. And Halloween has now passed. We are now into what is this, the Christmas season now? Like, I feel like we don't even really acknowledge Thanksgiving. We just go right into the Christmas season. And nevertheless, we're here to record. Although you did interrupt me earlier, I was contently watching Scream 2 with the cat in my little screening room, and then you called me and told me that we had to do work. So here we are, and I understand that you have an article that you wish to present us today. So
Present.
I'm gonna I'm gonna toss it over to you, and we're gonna get into this and have some fun here.
All right. Yeah, not to I guess harp on Gavin Newsom again, but we're going to share real quick this Gavin Newsom tweet here. So I'm going to share this right now so you can hopefully see that, Colin. Um
Hmm.
Can you say, you can say it, okay. It's
I can
Gavin
see it.
Newsom tweeting. He was criticizing Trump. Donald Trump hosted a Great Gatsby party while SNAP benefits were about to disappear for 42 million Americans. He does not give a we'll say, I'm not going to say about you because this is a Christian family show.
Of
So I won't even
course.
say it. I'm sorry that if your kids can read that. But yeah, so we were going to just talk about that. Now, obviously, this is not to sit there and be like, yeah, Gavin, you get him. We all know that Gavin famously had didn't allow you to have a funeral for your parent or let you visit your parent in the hospital, but he was able to attend a COVID restriction breaking dinner at the French Laundry, one of the most expensive upper class elite restaurants in the world. It's definitely up there. And so he was able to do that. And actually, at the time, Colin, I should have brought this up, but I had actually made a meme. That was like my first time I ever made a meme was when Gavin Newsom did that. And
Karen's first meme.
my first meme, and it was comparing him to it reminded me of the scene in Animal Farm when the animals see the pigs dining at the table and they're all looking in the window. And that's kind of how I felt because if you recall the photo of Gavin was not from inside the restaurant. It was like viewing through the window and it immediately made me think of Animal Farm. And of
The
course,
pigs.
yes, the pigs. And the famous quote that some all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal. And but speaking of Animal Farm, you and I have always joked about, and you actually dubbed the phrase conservative socialism, right? That was you, right?
Yes,
Yes.
that was me. We are
Yes.
conservative socialists on this program here. Thank you very much.
Well, we talk about a lot of times how like Steve Bannon, if you listen to a lot of what he has to say, it by and large almost sounds like socialist talking points. And I find it interesting and I'm curious to see what other people have to think about this. But if you grew up in conservative media or growing up consuming conservative media, I just think about like how we are so far from the like Rush Limbaugh 90s version of like conservatism, which I think needed to be abandoned in some ways. But just thinking about this whole 42 million people with the SNAP program and kind of what the conversation has been, because you do see a lot of people like Tim Pool, who's like, I work 16 hours a day. What he does is
He, he does
16
a morning
hours
show
skateboarding.
and
Like,
then
what is he?
yeah, right. A 2 hour
Yeah.
show at night. Like
Yeah. Like, he's not like, he's not like cleaning out septic systems.
he's
Okay,
out there
people.
with a jackhammer on the side of the road in West Virginia, like fixing potholes.
He's a coal miner in West
Yeah,
Virginia. Sounds a
exactly. He's
takeaway. He has
blasting.
worked. Yeah, he's getting money from Russia. Like who knows? And we like Temple. We're not completely.
I've always liked
Yeah,
him.
yeah, we like to. Yeah, for by and large. But it's really interesting to me to think that I think had this been in the 1990s and this had been Newt Gingrich, I believe you would have all Republicans, conservatives on the same page, and they would be scream like they would be completely full stop like yes, just stop their benefits, nobody deserves any benefits, take them away, they're all welfare queens.
Hmm.
And I feel like there is a little bit of that and it's definitely we see that, but I do think that there are a lot of conservatives who have a different understanding because I think a lot of them are sitting back and saying like wait a minute, like hey, I was a single mom and I depended on SNAP. I have a grandmother and she uses Snap. My mom uses Snap. Um, and I was just thinking about to myself about how when I was growing up in the 90s, both of my grandfathers had pensions. My father and my father-in-law do not have pensions. My father-in-law retired and he lives off of only Social Security. And I just really think that it kind of reveals a lot of what's happened in our economy, how we are not living in the same world anymore. We are not living in the 90s. And um, I listen, if you ask me honestly, like I would love to get rid of Snap tomorrow. My husband and I were at a food pantry last week with our church. Like I do think that people could support others. I do think that these social programs are have been have created a lot of problems.
Abused.
Yeah, have been abused. I believe in free markets. I tend to be a little bit libertarian in my beliefs, but I also think that we have had, especially since 2008, when we had the bail, it was okay to bail out the bankers, but the people that were going to lose their homes to foreclosures, who received predatory loans, that was moral hazard. We couldn't give to them. And that's
Right.
what I really think we're seeing. We're not seeing necessarily conservatives that align with socialism, but I think they are beginning to realize, or they've been living under this crony capitalism. And really, it's like we have socialism for the poorest of society, and then we have socialism for the richest of society, and then there's the rest of us in the middle, right? Where it's like we get
Right.
rugged individualism, capitalism, and
Yeah. Lace up your boots, boys and
yeah,
girls.
yeah,
Get out
yeah.
there and pound the pavement.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate that there's a lot of conversation about like when you think about the bailout of the banks. I mean, even think about COVID. We were so mad that these people were getting unemployment, even though they were told you cannot go to work. Like you can't go to work. So we're giving these people unemployment. What you and I probably got $1,400 twice or something. I don't even
I'm not even
remember.
sure if I got two checks or not. I
Yeah.
swear I only got one check that was
Yeah.
1400, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's a
And
moot point now.
listen, do I think that was problematic? Do I think it was a good idea? Do I think we should have the lockdowns? All no to all of the above. But in the same time, people were railing about people getting $1,400 or getting unemployment, but they were not recognizing the redistribution of wealth to the rich by all
Hmm.
of these programs, like
Yeah.
all
It's
of the
the largest
PPP.
upward transfer of wealth in human history
Yeah.
happened during COVID.
Yeah. So I think that people
I'm
just
sure
are,
it wasn't
yeah,
orchestrated at all. I'm sure it was all just totally organic
just
that that,
totally
that
normal.
happened, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking about myself. Like I said, I wish that we didn't have these programs. I wish that this isn't the way that we lived. But I think by just maligning everyone that receives these programs or benefits from these programs as just like leeches or welfare queens, like, yeah, we know that those people exist. But that's not necessarily the case for all of those people. And I
No.
was thinking about it, and I do know most of the people I can think of that are on these programs actually are on them for mental health,
Yes,
right?
I am aware of that.
Yeah, yeah. No, and and I do want to say to people that, especially if you are a Christian, um, I think that we need to get away from. I've had conversations with my fellow Christians, and you'll start to get into these conversations and people are like, well, they got this and they were getting that and they were getting that, and I understand, I agree, I think it's injustice and I think that's what upsets us, but I also believe people need to understand the really this the demoralization and the depravity that so many people live under when they exist under these programs, especially when it's generational. Um, I've been really open about when I had my transplants, that I was on disability and I did take disability for a little bit of time. Now I went from making, I was only getting a quarter of what I was making when I was actually working. So it wasn't like I was like getting all this money. I didn't qualify for any other programs. And honestly, I got signed up for disability. I didn't even sign up for it. They came in I literally got off a ventilator and they came in with the hospital and they said, sign up for this because God forbid my kidney didn't work. I need to be able to have dialysis. God, like that's just the way it works. And
Hmm.
I didn't even think I would need it. I was like, I'm going to be back to work in a couple months. I'm not even going to need this. I just kind of like was okay. Little did I know how sick I was going to be for 2 years there. Um, but I think that people don't recognize that being on these programs is so limiting. Like your beliefs are so limited. You really don't think that you can I remember thinking that I was like, I'm afraid to go back to work. Now, I was genuinely sick. And fortunately, they had this program called like Ticket to Work. So that if I did get sick again, I was able to like immediately get back on disability. But so many of these programs, like, and so many of these people, they just grow up with this belief that, like, you can't achieve anything. The cards are stacked against you. You're not going to be able to do anything with your life. And I just, even the little taste of it that I got was so, um, I can just see how people get so sick. Like, they get so mentally sick. And, like, um, so I understand when there's people out there, they're saying like, you need to get a job, you need to work with the rest
What
of us.
job?
Yeah,
Where?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's a good point too. Like so many people are out there saying like there really aren't a lot of jobs available.
No, the
Um,
job market is trash right now. Everybody knows that.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so I do think it's just interesting to see this. Like I said, I'm all about free markets, but I want free markets for everybody. I don't want just free markets for us in the middle class. Like, I want free markets. I want capitalism for Jeff Bezos. I want capitalism for Larry Ellison. Like, I think that all of us should be getting that. And unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing. And I think back to Animal Farm, when you think about Trump and he's like sitting there at his Great Gatsby dinner, which is kind of unbelievable. Like it feels like the 1920s. It feels like we're headed towards a huge stock market crash.
I wouldn't mind
Um,
going back to the 1920s, by the way. It did seem like a fun time,
yes,
like
well, for the
in
wealthy, yeah.
general.
It was a time of it was a time of buying on margin.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, yeah. So it
It seemed
was
like there was a
just
lot of hot chicks back then too. Like women were just kind of, a lot more
loose.
glamorous. Yeah, exactly.
They were
It was a good
loose,
time to be a
yeah.
dude. But go ahead.
Well, yes, they were. Yeah, you're right. They were kind of a little bit more loose, like Daisy, Great Gatsby. Yeah, I think you're just
Yeah.
thinking I think you're just thinking Leonardo DiCaprio in the
I'm
Great
I'm
Gatsby.
thinking of Midnight in Paris, actually, the Woody
Oh,
Allen
okay.
movie with Owen Wilson.
Oh,
I
okay,
always recommend
okay.
that you watch that.
I'm
It's
like,
such a
I
great
know
movie.
that this is based on a film. It's not based
Everything's based on a film. That's my whole life. I look at everything through the lens of like a movie. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no, I just we were talking about the about Animal Farm, and I think like seeing Trump at that dinner, it does kind of liken to I think this Trump term, I feel like a lot of us feel as if Trump, it's like the conclusion of it's like Animal Farm, where it's like we can't even distinguish between the pigs and the humans anymore. Whereas, and famously at the end, in Animal Farm, they thought the pigs were the revolutionaries. They're the ones that got the animals so excited to overthrow the establishment, the elite. And now it feels as if we're sitting here and we're like, we're not getting the Epstein files. Everything seems to be cronyism. It seems to be working for Trump's friends
More
or
wars, actually. The
the
same wars
same,
continuing, plus more wars. Like we're going to invade Venezuela for some reason. We're going to do
yeah.
regime change there. The Ukraine war is still going on.
The
So,
visas, like the
yeah,
H-1B visas aren't really okay.
yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pay,
Uh,
but we all know it's nonsense. And like it does feel as if we're at a point where, the pigs were the ones that got all the barnyard animals so excited for this revolution. It was going to be different. It was going to be, we were going to take charge. And now it kind of feels like we can't distinguish. Everybody at
We've been had.
Mar-a-Lago, we can't distinguish the pigs at Mar-a-Lago from the humans that have always been the leaders we've always had. And I feel as if a lot of people probably feel that way.
It's like the Who, what the Who said, meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
It's the same devil, just a different disguise. That's how I view it anyway. Because at the end of Trump's second term, are young people going to suddenly be able to now afford to buy a home? No, not
Yeah.
what meaningful change has is going to occur by the end of this second term? Nothing. Everything's going to be exactly, people are going to be worse off,
Well,
and
it's
everybody
interesting.
knows it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting you say that because back to the rise of conservative socialism, I have been kind of warning my boss that I'm like, I truly believe that we are going to see a huge progressive swing because a lot of people are not. It's populism. It's populism. It's conservative populism. It's not conservatism. Like these people don't care about free markets. They don't care. Like you said, they just want to be able to afford a home and they just want to be able to have some kind of prosperity. Like prosperity is what they are after. They want to believe that they can dream again, that they can plan, and everything feels like there's we're immiserated and we're demoralized. I feel like everything has been manufactured to demoralize us as a people so that we accept progressivism, that we accept socialism, that we accept surveillance. And I do think that we're going to see a huge progressive swing in the midterms and potentially in the 2028 election. And why I'm saying that is a lot of people believe that, like you said, Trump could come in and fix the economy. And yeah, you can make claims that he's tried or he's trying, but I think it's more of the chaos. Like, and we have to remember that, like, my husband works in the small business, they they cannot weather that storm as well as big corporations do. And it's the same thing with like this farmer bailout. All of that is really going to the big agribusiness. It's really not helping the little farmers. None of this government spending ever helps the little people. When are we going to realize that? All of the government help is, it's like Ronald Reagan said. I'm sorry, I'm starting to be like Ronald Reagan was right about everything. But like Ronald Reagan, like, I'm here from the government and I'm from the government, I'm here to help, like, are the most dangerous words that are ever said.
I'm
And
starting to think Richard Nixon was right about everything,
yes,
but I don't
yeah,
want to go
I
off on
yes,
that too
I
much.
actually, it's funny you said that because Richard Nixon, I was just listening. Well, except for he took us off the gold standard. So I'm
Yeah,
not
that was
really,
terrible.
not really
We
sure
should
about
go
that.
back on. We should have a gold and
Yeah.
silver backed currency, in my opinion. But
Yes. Well, but what I wanted to say, we are not experts in this field. We are just here to we're just looking
I'm
at
only an
things,
expert in like
observing.
Back to the Future. Like that's really where my expertise lies. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's I was about to say what I'm an expert in. I'm like literally nothing, like in fundamentalists, like into the
Yeah,
fundies. That's like the only thing, like the Duggar family.
yeah, and
But
like pasty cakes.
I like
I feel like you're very well versed in
I
like
am
witchy
pastries.
treats and
Yes.
candy, the tandy cakes. They're my favorite. The ones that
Yeah,
have
tandy
like,
cakes are good.
yeah, they're the round, the chocolate circular ones with a little bit of peanut
Yes.
butter and the
Yeah.
bread and like a breading kind of inside. Those are my favorite. Yeah.
But yeah, like I do think, like I said, there's going to be a big swing to progressivism because really a lot of the conservatives, I think that they thought Trump could come in and do something. Maybe some people voted for him because they were like, okay, I kind of believe with what he's saying, but I also don't want my children to be like changing gender. Some of it was based on that. But I think, like you said, by and large, I think it was a lot of people that are just like, I can't afford health care. I can't afford a home. I'm going broke. Like something needs to change here. And um, yeah, so I really do believe that that's what we're going to see. And I kind of had an epiphany last night at the gas station of all places. So my husband and I go to the gas station near us, and for people listening, I live in the coal region of Pennsylvania. So we have a lot of it's kind of like the Rust Belt, typical
Yeah, just dox
Appalachia.
yourself, Karen.
Yeah,
Just go
yeah,
ahead
dox
and just
myself.
give your
Come and
address
find
out.
me. I don't even care. But no, I think it's just like I mean to say that so that people understand. Like I live in a former coal mining area, former industrialized
Yeah.
area. We have a lot of drug abuse, a lot of like deaths of despair. So we go to the gas station and there's this young man and he's like on the phone with somebody and they're talking about something going up and down like 13% or they're talking about this and I was like, I don't know if he's talking about gambling or he's talking about what exactly, maybe he's like doing something on Robinhood. And it clicked for me that we have a society, a lottery society. Like I went and got a Mega Millions ticket because I like somehow had like a voucher or something to get. So I went in there to get a lottery ticket. Then I hear, and I'm not even a big lottery person. Um,
I used to be.
yeah.
I wasn't winning,
Then
so like I
yeah,
stopped.
you're like,
I
give
might
up.
get back into it though. We'll see.
Yes, don't get me wrong. I love a good scratch off, but I just don't typically like. I didn't even buy the ticket. It was like a traded in ticket or whatever. But the point is, the kid at this the clerk was like talking about, and I could tell he was probably doing something on Robinhood. And it occurred to me that like we live in a society where most people do not believe that they are going to have any prosperity unless they hit the lottery. And that lottery might be having YouTube channel like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And we're not even the two of us. It's like I don't even feel like we're motivated by money. I think we'd be happy to just make enough to do this full time. But I do feel like the both of us like we worked in radio. You interned for Howard Stern. I worked in national radio. Like this is what we enjoy doing.
I
Like
just
this
want the
is what
love and
yeah.
adoration of strangers mainly. Like I need, for some reason, I need like
You need
strangers,
validation. You need
yeah, that like aren't friends and family to love me. Otherwise, I feel empty. It's some sort of
um
a character flaw. But go ahead.
that's funny. I feel like I just need to express myself and relate to people. Like that's what like motivates me. Like I just need to express these thoughts that come into my head. Like last night at the gas station, I'm like, I need to share this. But anyway, so last night, yeah, so I realized like whether you're doing a YouTube channel, you're doing a podcast, you're on OnlyFans,
You're getting
you're on
crypto.
Robinhood, you're buying crypto. Exactly. It's like kids don't think that they can go to college anymore and have a comfortable life. Like I don't think that people are even invested in these things or aspiring to these things because they think they're going to be the next Taylor Swift. I think that they're after these things because they're like, I can't go to college and have a good life. I can't go get a nursing degree and really have a good life. Like, I genuinely believe, like, people, when we were growing up in the 90s and in the early 2000s, we believed that we could go to college and that we'd be on the way to a comfortable American Western life. Maybe we wouldn't be millionaires, but we would be comfortable. We would be able to have the life that we kind of envisioned. It was kind of sold to us. I feel as if this younger generation and us too, I mean, we're like 35 years old. I feel like a lot of people just feel as if they do not hit some kind of lottery, they are never going to have any financial freedom. It's not even about having, it's not about being Mark Zuckerberg. It's literally about being normal, just being what we thought would be an average life.
And think about what kind of salary you need now. Even as a
Yeah.
single person, you need to be making at least six figures, and probably like you need to be making about 200K just as a single person to live a comfortable life. I'm like exaggerating kind of because I
Yeah.
certainly don't make
No.
that much, but I do live comfortably. But you
Well,
know what I'm getting at.
yeah, and I think that like before people the white hairs get in here and try to tell us like that's because you want a Starbucks latte every day. And it's like number one, I do not want a Starbucks
I
latte
don't go
every
to
day.
Starbucks. I
Yeah.
grind my own beans, actually.
Yeah, I
And I
grind
have a
my I do
Chemex and
too.
I do a pour over every morning. So you can take that
Well,
and shove it.
yeah, I think I think a lot of white hairs get in there and say that. And like I think what they need to understand, like what the older people need to understand, and I've tried to express this to my boss too. Um, like I don't have trim in my house. We bought our house and we completely gutted it and completely and it's been 8 years and it's like our house is not complete. Like because I when we got married, I started listening to Dave Ramsey and my husband and I had a little bit of student loan debt. I paid off all my student loans early. I had aggressively started paying them off when I was even before I got married. We really bought into that. Like I bought into that and I'm grateful for it. I think Dave Ramsey can kind of be out of touch. He can be kind of arrogant and prideful, but I think that his system is right. And that's to say that like there are so many times that like I sacrificed and did not have vacations, did not have coffee drinks. Like, I mean, I didn't even live near a Starbucks. Okay. As I've said before, the closest coffee shop is connected to a dirty gas station where I live. So it's like, I don't even have a Target nearby me. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, for a long time, like, we didn't go on vacation. Like, I was crazy about my budget. And what I've only realized in the last couple months, I truly believed before 2020 that I was like, okay, um, my husband and I, like, we are going to pay off and have no debt. We are going to pay off our house. We are going to work hard. We're going to do this, by the grace of God who has provided us jobs and living and existence, and the opportunity to do this. We are going to be good stewards of our money, and we are going to have financial freedom. Like, we are going to be, but I thought that my peers would at least, like, yeah, maybe they'd have debt, but they'd be able to afford homes. I thought my younger siblings, like, I was like, okay, like, I'm going to try to teach them the same things that I've done, and be open about that and about paying off debt and not taking on debt and not buying and being a good little consumer. But now, just in the last couple of months, it's been very daunting because I look around and I think, I don't know if the people, my peers, my siblings, my family members are going to be able to own homes. Like, I don't know. I don't know where we're going. And I
Not
feel
unless
like,
they have
yeah,
parents who can help them. Really, that's the only way for people in our demographic to own a home, honestly, is if they have parents who are careful with their money and are generous and are able to help them out with a loan. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
that
and yeah, of course, and like people, you can live kind of further away from your work. I mean, my husband works an hour away. I for a little while actually as I was coming off disability, I used to drive 40 minutes every day to work back and forth and work two jobs. So I'm saying like this is
I
not
don't
for all
believe
you
in
white
that.
hairs. I don't want to hear any of these arguments that it's like buy somewhere further. We did buy further. Buy a fixer upper. We did buy a fixer upper. Like we've done all the right things. And
Yeah.
I'm like I said, by the grace of God, even with getting sick and all that, like we've done okay. But I'm finally at a point where I'm like, I don't know if other people are going to be okay. And I don't want to live in a country where that's the case. And on the flip side, like I said to my husband, I'm like, but then you hear like the conversation about like small landlords, and if you listen to some of the socialist talking points, I mean, they demonize mom and pop landlords. It's so frightening. So like I said to my husband, I'm like, I just feel like we're pushed against a wall. Like I said to him, I said, what scares me is if we do have a progressive wave, is that it's not Jeff Bezos and all of them that are going to be the targets. It's going to be small, affluent people, like the minor, like the minutely affluent. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because then
Yeah.
it's like if you look at all of the revolutions that have occurred, it's like you own one more land in Greece during the Civil War. Like you own more sheep than I do. Not the person in a castle, but like literally you own more sheep than I do. I went to Ukraine and I remember them telling us when the Soviets were in charge, there was a picture of one of their patriarchs on the wall. And they said what happened to him is that the neighbor had some kind of disagreement with him and they ratted him out to the party and they killed him. And
Ah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what makes me nervous because, like, people don't understand. Like, today, it's the billionaires that are the enemy. And then the next day, it's the millionaires. And then the next day, it's, oh, you own a home. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, eventually, it's like the guillotine,
Well,
it's thirsty.
I think maybe to kind of wrap things up,
Yes.
here's my thought about that. I actually don't see us heading towards a more quote unquote progressive form of leadership. I think that the big question in the coming elections is, are you America first? Meaning, are you going to take care? What are you going to do for native born American citizens, people who were born in this country, people whose families have been here for generations? And I think if there is even a hint of country X, Y, and Z being involved, like a candidate saying, "Well, I'm America first, but we have to continue to support X." I don't think that you're going to be completely invalid as a candidate if you try and put a spin on America first that involves country X, Y, or Z. People are done with it now. It's only America first is America only. We've given billions and billions of dollars to countries X, Y, and Z. I think that if there is a candidate where there's even a hint of that involved, the people will reject them at this point. Perhaps I'm being a bit too optimistic because that's how I feel at this point. But I don't know. I think that that's going to be the deciding factor in the coming elections. Are you America first, or are you America first with, well, we still have to support countries X, Y, and Z? I think that's going to be completely invalid to most Americans.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I do think that in some ways America First kind of goes in line with a little bit of it can be a socialist spin though. It can be,
Hmm.
okay, we got to take care of our own. We have
Yeah.
to
Well, that's what I mean
yeah,
by that. That's what
yeah.
I mean by conservative socialist. Conservative, we're conserving traditional norms, traditional American values that we all grew up with. And socialism, not meaning Marxism, meaning we're going to take care of our own people, the people who have been here. I'm for native born Americans having a form of free health care. Like, what if you decide you don't want to work in the office and you want to get a Winnebago and you want to like go, do a cross country road trip? I think you should have the freedom to do that. What if you get sick while you're doing that? Oh, well, you don't have a job, so you're screwed. You can't get help. That's kind of why I believe in the government providing a form of universal health care for native born American citizens. I don't think it should be tied to employment.
I don't think it should be a tie to employment, but the idea of government health care scares the hell out of me. Like that just I just think I
It'll
see
be
every
optional.
yeah.
If you want to
Well,
have your employer's insurance package, go ahead. But what if you're unemployed, or what if you don't? What if you're trying to create your own business? Well, if you get sick, you're screwed because healthcare is tied to employment in this country. So
buy and but you can still buy health insurance. I mean, I buy my own health insurance. I
you
don't
can't afford that, though. Most people can't.
No, but
Ah.
no, you can buy your own health insurance. Like I have my own independent health insurance. Like I divorced from an employment situation. I have my own health insurance that I chose for myself, the best plan for me.
I think if your
It's
country cared
expensive
about you,
though.
if you got exactly, I think my philosophy is if you get sick, it's paid for. Period. End of story. Nothing comes out of your pocket. You live in the richest country in the world, and your government, which is there to provide services to you, is going to take care of it. Period. That's my
Yeah.
philosophy on it.
I love
That's
that
a
in an
little, maybe
ideal
that's a little
world.
progressive.
I just think that they do a terrible job at education. They do a terrible job at
I
everything
know what you're
else.
saying.
And I just feel
I
like
know.
the way I feel about it is we already we see how they act when we gave them enough control. We've
Hmm.
continued to give the government more control and more. We've given them more and more and more, and we see the result of that is that they don't take care of us. They take care of themselves. And
Right.
my belief is actually that what people need to do is this is actually going to end in a hopeful message is that I
Okay.
think that we do have what freedoms you still have. We can still support one another. We can still support, I try to as much as I possibly can. Like I go to the local farmers market and I'm like, I try to get my grocery list together and buy as much as I humanly possibly can from the farmers and the Mennonites and the like those smaller decentralized groups instead of going to like large as much as I can buy away from those corporations. I try to do that, try to vote with my money. And I do think too that we're going to have to start like thinking of ways. I mean, and I can't say that this is my idea. I think that you see a lot of these like homesteaders and stuff like that, people realizing like, no, we have to be able to make our own foods. We have to be able to provide for ourselves and to support one another. And we still have that freedom. So up until they take that away from us, we can still, work towards that as much as we humanly can, because that's another thing. If we live in a surveillance state, who knows? We could have social credit scores. So to me, it's like, okay, we need to get away from all of this centralization as much as we can. So that's what, and Colin, we
Karen,
don't need hospitals. We could just heal ourselves. No, I'm kidding.
that's right.
I'm
That's
kidding.
right. All you need is
I would
crystals, really. You just need to
use a
talk
crystal.
to your find a good medium, find a good local medium in your area. I myself, I'm a Christian Scientologist, so I'm gonna go and get audited down at the church, which is very close to me. I
No, I think as we wrap this, I think
I'm
we should
joking.
say that Tom
What?
Cruise is coming to heal you.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is gonna come over with the auditing machine, and he's gonna
You
straighten
don't
everything
need,
out.
yeah, nobody needs health care. We have Tom
No.
Cruise to
Yeah,
save us.
exactly. So, okay, we should end it
But
end
well,
it on that note, I think.
well, the last thing I want to say is I love to know what people think of this. I want to know, like, do you think that we live in a lottery economy? Do you think we're going to get progressives, America first? Let us know what you think.
Yeah, please click the subscribe button, give us a like, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.